Welcome to lesson number 7. In today's lesson, we are looking at dictionaries. Now, like lists, dictionaries are quite big and there's a lot of things you can do with them. So this is going to be part 1. Part 2 will be next lesson, which is lesson number 8. So let's begin. Before we look at dictionaries, we need to just have a quick recap of lists. Lists are what we looked at our last lesson, and they are made just like this here, a class result. And inside a list, we had 2 values. We had the value that we typed in or input, so such as 2 and 5 and 6 and whatever. And then each of these values had an index value or a location. So 2 has a location of 0, 5 has a location of 1, and 6 has a location of 2. So that was our lists. Now dictionaries, as you'll see in a second, don't have those same kind of rules in them. A dictionary has keys and then it has values, where here we have index values and elements. So to really illustrate this point, let's go and make a new Python project and we'll call it lesson 7 and push enter. Okay, so let's make our first dictionary. So we're going to make a list of our best friends. So let's write friends, which will look just like a variable. And if we're making a list, we would use these brackets here. However, because we're making a dictionary, we're going to use these spider brackets like so. At least I call them spider brackets because they look a bit like spiders. They probably have a real name, but I'm not sure what it is. So we have made our first dictionary there. Now I said dictionaries have keys in them and values. Let's see what that looks like. So we can make a key value like so. So if I say name, that is now a key value, meaning that's going to be, instead of an index value where 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, well now we've said name. That is our key value. Now to set a value to that key, we then just go like so. Whoops. We then put the colon, and inside we can write a name, such as John. So now we've made a key value of name and an actual value associated with that key value of John. And what we can do now is we can print, and if I say print friends and run that code, it'll print me everything that is within my dictionary. I can also specify what I'd like, and I can say print, using these brackets here, print the key value name. When I run that one, you'll see it returns John. Now we can add more values to this dictionary if we like. For example, we could say name, and let's say John, we want to store, I don't know, the age of our friends as well. So we can add another key, say age, and then now we can add a value in such as, however old the friend is. Let's just say 17. So now we have, and we get an error there. That's because I did a comma instead of a colon. There we go. So now I can print name, or I could print the key value age, and when I run that, it'll bring back 17 because it's looked. Now a big mistake that gets made is if you try and do multiple key values that are the same. For example, let's say I wanted to add another friend in here. So I went, okay, well I kind of get what to do here. Let me do a comma and let me give a key value of name, and then let me give a name of that friend, and let's just call this one Billy. And now I've got 2 friends. I've got John and Billy. However, you can see here it's highlighted them in yellow, and it's saying, hey, you can't do that. You can't have the same key twice. That's like in a list having the same index value of 1 and 1. It doesn't know what the true value is. So if I was to print name, well, it's going to go along when it runs this code and go, oh, we found name, and then continue going, oh, we found name again, and return the last value. Let's have a look. So I only get Billy because I added name twice. So we can't do that. We look at a solution for that later on, probably in the next video, but it's just something to make sure you don't have the same thing twice. So I'm going to remove that out of there, and I'm going to say instead, let's add our friend's favorite food. So favorite food, and I need to make sure there's a bracket there, and let's go pizza. So at the moment we have got this dictionary based upon one person, which is John, and we can see John's age is 17 and his favourite food is pizza. So now I could print name, I could change this to favourite food and run that, and it returns pizza. Now if I put something in here that doesn't exist, so I say, favourite, and then run that, you're going to see I get a key error that says, hey, we actually can't find fave within this group of friends. We don't see it there at all. Now there are ways you can fix this later on, and you can have it return just nothing if it can't find one, or no key is there. But if you ever get a key error, that's because you've asked it to look for a key that doesn't actually exist. All right. So let's say we wanted to add more friends under our name tab here. What we could do is this. Just like our lists in the last one, I can put brackets around just like so, and I can turn this into a list within a dictionary. So John being my first friend there, I can then, let's change this to name first. I can then print this. You see it returns John. And then I could say, well, just like a list, can I just put a comma and add another friend in? So Phil, we've added Phil in, and just because I deleted him earlier, let's add Bill as well. I'm not sure it's Bill or Billy, but Bill can be added. So now I've got 3 friends that are linked to my name command. And if I go and run this, you'll see, just like a list, they appear like so. And you might remember us talking about index values, and you could say, well, John, he would be at index value 0, Phil would be at index value 1, Bill would be at index value 2. So can I just add an index value to this? Well, yes, you can. Let's go index value 1, just on the end with nothing in between. So if I run that now, you shall see it returns Phil. And if I change that to a 0, it returns John. And if I wanted to, I could even say for I in range, and I believe we can use the len command here. Let's try this out. Print. I want to steal this code. In fact, I'll just take the whole lot. Let's see if that'll print all of our friends. Hey, there you go. Now it gave us John twice there, but that's okay. It printed our friends out. What if I want to add a new friend in, however, I didn't want to have to do it manually through the code? Well, we can use the append command to add a new friend in. So instead of having it print out all the names of our friends here, what we could say is let's append a friend. So let's do it here. We'll say friend's name, and then we can use the .append command because we're dealing with a list just there, and we can add in Peter. There we go. Let's give him a capital P, and Billy should have a capital P. There we go. Capital P for Peter. There we go. So now when I run this, I should get Peter added to the bottom. There you go. Peter's been added. So you can see all the things we learned in our previous video with the lists, they kind of help us out here as well because we've just added in an extra value. Now we can use dictionaries like a database as well, meaning we can have it so it stores all of our friends, but with their names, it can store things like age and pizza and so on. Because see here, it's hard to tell, well, who is 17 and whose favorite food is pizza. It doesn't actually specify. So we can set this up in another way that'll sort of break it down, and we can add, multiple names and so on. But we need to do it with a bit more fancy code. We need to have unique values for each person and so on. But that's probably where we'll end it for this video. In our next one, we're going to add all those fancy bits to our dictionary, and we'll make it so it's probably a bit more user-friendly for when you want to add multiple values in based upon, a single person and so on. So I hope you learned something in this one, and I'll see you in the next video.